Now I want to show you how to use these coordinate graphs of sine and cosine instead of using the unit circle. Here's what this says. It's two different problems. The sine of x is equal to the square root of 2 over 2. And if you look at it in terms of the graph format, what it's saying is this. Look at the graph, the sine of x is equal to y. So that says, look at the graph. This is the graph here, function notation. So it's really y equals the sine of x. Okay. They want you to answer, where does the graph, the sine of x, equal the square root of 2 over 2? Notice that the square root of 2 over 2 is written in the same place as the y. So what they're saying is, when does y equal the square root of 2 over 2? I mean, that's how you can kind of interpret this. So what you do is you realize the y-axis goes up and down, and you find the square root of 2 over 2. Recall the square root of 2 over 2 is approximately 7.7. So let's say that's about right there. What you do is you just go ahead and you look and see where it cuts the graph there. It cuts the sine graph here and here. Now where that happens is you look down on the x and you see at what degrees it takes place. This happens at a 45 degrees and then also at right here 135 degrees. So the graph would tell us that the sine of x equals the square root of 2 over 2, and you would say where? You would say at 45 degrees and 135 degrees. In degree mode, if they wanted radians, you would say in radian mode it's at pi over 4 or 3/4 pi. Okay, let's look at a second example. What if it's with cosine? This one right here says the cosine of x equals -1. Same thing. The cosine of x equals y is the graph we're going to look at, which is this right here. This is just in theta mode, so the f of theta equals the cosine of theta. You could say f of x equals the cosine of x, or y equals the cosine of x. Here's the graph. What they're telling me here is y equals -1. So I want to find -1 on the graph, which is right here. And I want to go across and just see where it hits the graph. It hits the graph right here at 180 degrees or pi. And you just kind of go up and see where it hits the x-axis. So the answer to this would be 180 degrees. Or if they want it in radian mode, I would say it's at pi radians. Now, the good thing about this graph is you could actually look at different cycles of it. This is going around the circle different times. So here's another one. It also happens at -180 or -pi. And that's how you use this graph. I do want you to spend a minute, look at the next slide. I'm going to show you how to actually create these graphs on your graphing calculator. So let's take a quick peek at that. Now this slide just shows you a few snapshots of graphing the sine of x. So what you want to do is go into the y equals mode, and you're going to want to type in the sine of x. Now when you graph it, you're going to have the typical window, which is a -10 to +10. Okay. But check the mode that you're in. If your calculator is in degree mode, what it's trying to do is do one cycle of sine. Keep in mind one cycle of sine is like 1s rotation. If you're in degree mode, it's going to make that 1s shape stretch out from 0 to the 360th tick mark. This is a window of -10 to +10, so it's going to be very hard to see. It's best to have your mode of your calculator in radian mode, because in a radian mode, a circle rotation is not 360 degrees, but it's 2 pi. 2 times pi is approximately 6.28. So what it's doing in radian mode is it's starting at the 0 tick mark and going to the 6.28 tick mark. So you see much more of the circle or the sine graph. Again, degree mode is fine, but your tick marks are going to be way off, so you'd have to adjust it. Just always graph in radian mode. It should solve your problem. Now, the one thing I would do is I did change, depending what I wanted to see. If I wanted to see 2 cycles of the sine, 2 circular rotations of going around the graph, this right here in the red is 1 circular rotation. That's 6.28 radians. This is a second circular rotation, another 6.28. So what I did is I went to the window of my calculator and I changed it. I kept my x min at 0, but I did my x max is I want it to go out to 2 pi's. So I actually typed in 4 pi in here. And then once I hit enter, it changed it to a decimal place. Then I wanted to think about my tick marks, and I thought maybe have the tick marks go every pi over 4 units. So I typed in here pi over 4, and again it just changed it to a decimal. You could do pi over 2, you could do whatever you want. I did keep my y's at just from -2 to 2. I wanted to zoom in some, but I still didn't want to get rid of a lot of the empty space. And here's what you got. Now keep in mind, if you were asked to maybe graph one circular rotation, you could just change the x max to 2 pi. Maybe they wanted you to do one circle in the negative and one in the positive. What I would do for that, my x min and x max, I would just do my min at -2 pi and then go x max to +2 pi. And you can play with the calculator as you need to for that.